What's your IQ? You seem like a very, very intelligent man.
You time it took me to kill like 161, 160.
So obviously you're smarter than me. Is that right?
Our Einstein's IQ was 164.
What's your IQ? You seem like a very, very intelligent man.
You time it took me to kill like 161, 160.
So obviously you're smarter than me. Is that right?
Our Einstein's IQ was 164.
What's your IQ? You seem like a very, very intelligent man.
You time it took me to kill like 161, 160.
So obviously you're smarter than me. Is that right?
Our Einstein's IQ was 164.
What's your IQ? You seem like a very, very intelligent man.
You time it took me to kill like 161, 160.
So obviously you're smarter than me. Is that right?
Our Einstein's IQ was 164.
What's your IQ? You seem like a very, very intelligent man.
You time it took me to kill like 161, 160.
So obviously you're smarter than me. Is that right?
Our Einstein's IQ was 164.
What's your IQ? You seem like a very, very intelligent man.
You time it took me to kill like 161, 160.
So obviously you're smarter than me. Is that right?
Our Einstein's IQ was 164.
What's your IQ? You seem like a very, very intelligent man.
You time it took me to kill like 161, 160.
So obviously you're smarter than me. Is that right?
Our Einstein's IQ was 164.
What's your IQ? You seem like a very, very intelligent man.
You time it took me to kill Albert Einstein's IQ was 164.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. Now it's got me in a fancy car. I can change the background. This will work. Now the camera's not working. Get that going. Welcome to the show. So we got a lot of stuff to get through and talk about. See the new background, baseball logo all around me. We'll get to the agenda in a second and get going. As always, please be sure to like and subscribe, share this out. If you looked at my Twitter, you saw I've been dropping a lot of baseball information recently. I'm connected to insiders and as well as MLB sources myself, and I'm dropping information. The advantage I have, I am not connected to a big network, therefore I can drop things early. I have no contracts with MLB, anybody. Yeah, I know, Kyle, that's the background doing that. So, yes, I can drop things where other people can't, okay? I'm not connected to it, so let's go ahead and change the background. Don't like the background, we can change it. How about this? Well, that looks a little weird too. Let's see. That looks weird too. So the background here is not working right for some reason. I think I'll leave it at Yankee Stadium. So it's just the way it crops it and everything. And if I get close to the camera, it looks a little better, I guess. So let's go ahead and get to the agenda. There's a look at what we're going to be talking through today. Got the CBA meetings update, and of course we're going to be doing it until the CBA is done. Latest word is it should be done by next week, by my next show. So that might be the last one we talk about it. What's up, Carl? I forced a mediator and will be refusing to have meetings, which is actually illegal. I'll explain why. We're talking about why the Mitchell report is tainted, and I'm not the one saying that. I will show you who is saying that. Andy Martinez report on the Yankees' refusal to trade Peraza. It is BS. I'll give you some information on that. Sports Track, and I found out Fangraphs may be copying my predictions for the Yankees. If you look at both of their predictions, same exact order I had it. Identical order I had, almost identical records too. And then we'll get to the first base carousel predictions, and I'll go over the crap that went out about Freeman today. And then the surprise MLB trade rumblings. And then we'll get to the questions session, which is the last notes and questions. CBA. The sides continue to twiddle their thumbs. And I'm not sure that spelling error is there. It was not there when I put that slide on there. That's a little weird. Got a computer error there. And I'm going to keep my phone active. I might get some information. So they're sitting there twiddling their thumbs, not getting anywhere. The reason is the MLB is refusing to negotiate. The players are there. They wanted to go negotiate, but the MLB is refusing to negotiate, okay? That's the issue. And it's all on the MLB side. If the MLB would just get to the table, just sit there for 8 hours, they'd have the deal done. They would be able to get together and everything. They'd be able to get it done. Progress is still being made. The MLBPA's lawyer said that, by the way. He put that out in a text. His name is Friedman, an attorney. He follows me on my TheKingSource one, and I follow him as well. So, yeah, there's that one. Mediator, I forced it. Remember, I've been harping on it since mid-December. It's been really since I started TheKingSource. I was harping on it before we started TheKingSource. Then we started TheKingSource, kept harping on it, and all of a sudden they hired a mediator. Who forced that? Yeah, I did. So yeah, now MLB is violating numerous legal binding contracts by not even going to the negotiating table. Okay? They're straight up violating all these contracts. Why is this illegal? The players signed legal binding contracts to play. The MLB signed legal binding contracts to have them play games. And legal binding contracts with TV networks to play these games. So the TV networks are going to start coming in and putting a lot of pressure on the MLB to accept the deal and get this deal done. So there's a rundown of kind of where it's at. The MLB is violating all these contracts. I think it gets done the next week. I don't think we'll see a moderator, though. Okay? So that's where that sits at. The Mitchell report is tainted. Take a look at this text that was put out. I want to remind everyone that Senator George Mitchell, Democrat, the Mitchell report is suspected of having involved with child sex trafficking on Epstein Island. He named players from every team except the Red Sox, who later tested positive for PEDs. 18 Red Sox that were on the 2004 team served PED suspensions later on in the next few years. The 2017 went up to 27 of the 40-something they played. You cannot tell me that Mitchell report was fair, that he was even telling the truth about the Yankees. We're talking about a biased guy who was director of the Red Sox at the time. Look at that. Bottom line. He was the director of the Red Sox at the time. The Mitchell report is tainted. It needs to be redone by an impartial party, such as I would be if I got the ability to do it. And then the Pence things needs to be completely redone. Because of this, we have no clue of knowing what he said was true or anything, because of connections to certain people. And he was president of the Red Sox. That should have been illegal. He should not be allowed to do it when he was director of the Red Sox when he did the Mitchell report. And Kyle, I don't know where everybody is. They'll come when they come. They'll miss the show if they don't. And I'm going to be dropping some bombs later in the show, too. I already dropped a bomb. I broke the Mike McDaniels deal with the Dolphins. It'll be coming out in mainstream media anytime. Remember, I can leak that before anybody else. So, but director of the Red Sox. Then I can no longer trust Mitchell report. After this guy, Ryan Speeder, pointed this out. He is a Red Sox reporter, by the way. Or I think he's all baseball, but he reports Red Sox too. So the Mitchell report is tainted. It is not accurate. It cannot be trusted. Okay, guys? We'll have to keep that one in mind. Moving on. Andy Martinez reports on the Yankees' refusal to trade Peraza. Not true. What the Yankees said right before the lockout to the A's, while they were negotiating with the A's, is we'll have Peraza and Torres and Voit headline the deal, or Gio. It'd be Voit or Gio, one of those two, if we get both Matt Olson and a pitcher, such as Sean Manaea is one the Yankees want, by the way. A little bit of breaking news for you there. So it's not just refusal to say get enough back. Now, the latest word from my source today is they do expect the Yankees to try very hard to get this trade done. Okay? Got a new background up here, and it's messing with the graphics, not cropping right. Apologize for that. Maybe next time put the old background up I had. It was a little better, but we'll see. But yes, so it's not a completely true thing. And remember, with Andy Martino, he is not that good with Yankees stuff. He never has been. Okay? So they will trade Peraza for Olsen, but they have to get a pitcher with him. That is the truth. It is not just they're not going to trade him. So I do think Peraza gets traded. Now, I forced a mediator into the CBA talks. Take a look at this. I post my article, the above one, tweet there. 2 days later, the MLB, you can see Jeff Passan's tweet, hires the mediator. You cannot tell me I did not force that. It's blatantly obvious I forced it. So it's just a reminder for everybody, I forced that. That was me. Okay? That's too coincidental. You can look at the times when I posted that article, February 1st, and there's just 2 days later. 2 days later, Passan announces that they requested and hired a mediator. So you cannot tell me I didn't force that. Sports Track. If you looked at Sports Track and what's the other one? Fansided? No. Whatever the other one is. Standings. They have the exact same order I gave the AL East standings. Yankees, Blue Jays, Rays, Red Sox, O's. The exact order on both those websites. And it's Fansided and Sports Track. Both of them. I said Yankees be at 95 wins and it dropped down about 88 for the Blue Jays. They have the Yankees at 92, both of them. Then they have the Jays at 89, both of them. Now, the others are a little bit further off, but it's still very close to mine. So they went off my standings. It is hilarious to me they did that. I mean, hilarious. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. I'm going to try something. I do have a green background I can put up there. I wonder if that would fix the graphic issues. Give me a second. Okay, that looks a lot better. How about that? I should have put that thing up first. Okay. So yeah, getting back to this, you look at their standings. We're talking a game or two off is all, just a game or two off. All right. So it's a little weird. It's a little weird. So, and what just happened? That just broke my background. Let's actually flip it to that one. That might be a little better. No, that's worse. It's the white that's doing it. Okay. That was weird. So, yes. I think I'm being copied by bigger websites with my predictions in that. First base carousel predictions. Let's take a look at them. This is where, based off current info, the latest info, even what I got today, I did go and tweak this a little bit today, where I think all these first basemen will go. Pay attention. Matt Olson, Yankees. Yankees are expected to make an all-out push Matt Olson right after the lockout, okay, and really try for him, okay? I think Rizzo goes to the Marlins because he is from Miami, and I think he'll just flat out say, no, I'm going to go to Miami. There's another reason for that a little bit on. Freddie Freeman, Dodgers. The Dodgers had a 6-year offer on the table for Freeman before the lockout, okay? It's believed that will happen. Get rid of that notification. Because the Dodgers are pushing hard for it. They lost a lot of money in Scherzer and Seager, and they're going to be voiding out Bauer's contract. They're working with MLB to get that voided while he deals with his legal trouble. Okay? So this is really what's coming. I do believe Freeman goes to the Dodgers. I don't think the Braves come in last second. I think the Braves turn to the Yankees to trade for Luke Voigt. The Braves have several players, including Johan Camargo for one, that would fit perfectly with the Yankees and what the Yankees are looking for. It's not going to be the shortstop Swanson. Forget about that one. Braves are not trading him. This is his contract year. And again, I apologize for the cropping. The software is obviously not doing it right, is what it is. Yeah, I do believe Freeman ends up with the Dodgers. I think that's the guy they go out they get. Remember, he is from L.A. He grew up 3 miles from Dodger Stadium. I do believe he ends up there. And I do believe Luke Voigt gets traded to the Braves. I have heard 4 teams connected. Get the hand on the screen. There it is. 4 teams connected to Luke Voigt. The Red Sox, the Braves, the Brewers, and the Cubs. 4 teams that will be looking to get Luke Voigt. Yes, I said Red Sox. If they would trade him to the Red Sox, the Yankees were demanding their lefty-hitting third baseman, Rafael Devers. That was the demand, according to MLB inside sources. I don't think it happens. I think that is a long shot. The stunner cash pulls up out of nowhere, etc. Okay? What I think happens, he goes to the Braves for a couple of prospects, and the Yankees could take those prospects and put them in another trade. I've heard 3 or 4 different trades the Yankees could be working on before the break that are going through MLB circles. Well, we will get to those. Just me, do I look like Mel Kiper in this right now? The way this thing is cropping. Weird. Weird. And then Dominic Smith, that Mets player that they made available. They made 3 players available. 3 players. J.D. Davis, Dominic Smith, and I cannot remember the other one's name for some reason. But 3 available. They do expect the Dominic Smith to go to the Brewers. That trade was agreed to before the lockout. They could not get it finalized. So that one is expected to happen. Okay? I do think Dominic Smith ends up with the Brew Crew. So there is my prediction where the first baseman carousel works out. And yes, Luke Voigt will be traded. That was on the verge before the lockout. The Yankees just trying to figure out what else they do. So, the surprise trade rumblings. Let's get to this. The Yankees and Cubs were working on a trade pre-lockout. They had mentioned Kyle Hendricks, which is actually very likely. Ian Happ, again, very likely. And Wilson Contreras, not likely. If Contreras is traded, it will be separate than one of the other 2. He will not be with the others. But it is likely they trade him. They do have Roberto Perez now. Remember that. So they do have a catcher that can play in his place. So I do expect all 3 traded at this point. I can't really guess where, but I do think the Yankees might go out and get Kyle Hendricks to have him as the number 2 starters. So that's one of them. Another one, the Padres, when I mentioned, 2 bigger websites have mentioned it now. They both said ESPN was one of them, CBS Sports was the other. Padres may be working on a surprise trade for a superstar. That would come out of the blue, that they would sign Chris Bryant. Now, who was the first to say that? And that's a great point, Carl. Just saw that. If Smith goes to Milwaukee, Voit, that rules Milwaukee out. They're not going to have both Smith and Voit, even with the DH coming, if it is agreed to. It's not yet agreed to. Believed it'll happen, not yet agreed to. So that's a good point there from Carl Wallen. Let's get back to the trades. So that is Bryce Harper and then signing Chris Bryant. If the Padres do that, they would trade Fernando Tatis to the Phillies in the trade and trade the first baseman Eric Hosmer away. They haven't been playing at first base anyway, so he'd get traded, likely to a team like the Red Sox that's looking for a first baseman. The Red Sox already know they're missing out on those other 5 first basemen, unless Rizzo, for whatever reason, they convince him to go there. He is not keen on that. So that's kind of where I see it going as far as that goes. Another surprise trade for a pitcher, Luis Castillo, expected to be traded to the Dodgers. Dodgers quietly trying for him. He's the one they want to replace Scherzer with. They get him and Rodon, then they're right back to especially time Freeman, right back as that top team in the NL West. No drop off. They replaced all their guys. So that's why the Dodgers are trying for this. I wonder if I move over. No, not that way. Trying to figure out the camera. Okay, that's a little better. Maybe I just need a better angle on the camera. So there's another surprise trade. Another surprise trade I heard about is the Red Sox trading Devers. That's why I mentioned him for Voit. I don't think it happens, but they were floating his name out there trying to get bids on him. So kind of keep an eye on that one. I don't think it happens, though. Let's see what other ones were out there. There was a few more I wanted to talk about. Marlon Starter getting traded is not likely at all. Marlins are going to try to compete. They may actually go out to Kershaw. I don't think so. Latest on Kershaw, Rangers are going to make an all-out push for him. This is the Texas Rangers, not New York Rangers. Don't confuse them. 2 professional sports teams with that same name. The Texas Rangers. Remember, he is from Arlington, about 18 miles from the ballpark there, the new one. So he's a local kid too. So because he's a local kid's going home here. And by the way, I do not know where the BS is coming from that Matt Olson is from Atlanta. He's from Georgia, but not Atlanta. He's from 2 hours from Atlanta. He's not an Atlanta guy. He's never been a Braves fan in his life. He was always a Tampa Bay Rays fan or go further north up there, Phillies fan. He's not from the Atlanta area, metro area. But yeah, that's another one. Another one is guaranteed an ace pitcher is getting traded. That is guaranteed. And they think, even if the Yankees get Manaea, another one will go to the NL East, most likely the Braves. I have heard several different names mentioned there. So, and that's another great point there from Carl. The Dodgers are never afraid to trade top prospect. That's why they will get Castillo. Dodgers not going to go Snug and Freeman, but I see what he's saying with this one. I think Cashman does it once he gets the price tag down. Say Torres, Peraza, Gio, and a pitcher. And the reason they want Gio is they want a third baseman to play Chapman because they do plan on trading Chapman. That's another one. So there's a kind of a rundown of all the trades that we could see come. There was one more I wanted to talk about. It was not Chapman. It was Phillips for the A's is another one. They do think his name will fly around post-lockout, but they do not actually think he'll be traded. They think the A's are more price gauge on him, but they'll keep him. I think he is their star. They will keep. He's still affordable. He's not making $5 million for another 3 years. He's under contract another 4. So he'll stay affordable unless they extend him. Another one is Yankees will trade for Olsen and extend both Olsen and Gallo with Judge. Remember, the Yankees have over $100 million coming off the books next year. $100 million. Chapman, Britton, even Judge's 17-something million. What others? Etc. There's a whole bunch of contracts coming up. Be over $100 million. They'll be under $100 million total payroll going into next offseason. That's how much will be falling off. And with the luxury tax expected to skyrocket, there's no excuse for the Yankees to not spend, by the way. Talk about them for a little bit with Cashman. Because the players are going to push that luxury tax at least to $230 million. They will not settle until the MLB comes up to at least $230 million on the bottom one, $265 on the second threshold, or $260. The players want it $245, $295, $345. That's their what they put it for their proposal. Cashman does need to do something to improve the team. So I think where it ends up is somewhere around 230, 235 bottom. The next one 265 to 270. The final threshold over $300 million. That's what Max Scherzer was hitting at too with his tweet, where they want it to where the thresholds are penalties, but they are not caps. They do not want a salary cap baseball. That is never coming. The players will never put up with that. And that's what they were talking about with that. So I think that's trades. If I can remember the last one, I'm trying to remember what it is. It was an AL East player. I do remember that. Austin Meadows. Austin Meadows. There is rumors the Rays will trade Austin Meadows before they have to extend him by the end of this year. Not season, year. Remember, he's only got about 2 years left on his contract. And he's in arbitration. So it's believed Austin Meadows will trade him, and the Yankees are exploring how could they get him, including Aaron Hicks in the deal, as a third team quietly. I don't think that happens. If they trade him, I'm expecting an NL team somewhere. Like maybe the Pirates or the Cubs or something like that. But Austin Meadows, keep an eye on him. And with that, let's get to our questions. We have about 10 minutes for questions for the show. So if you have questions, go ahead and ask them. And I will go ahead and check with my sources right now to see if I got any updates on them while I wait for some questions to pop in. Another one with the Dodgers. I may have just changed the background again. Because the hotkeys are activated. So let's just check that. I'm going to leave that. It's a monkey. Let's leave the monkey up there. Freeman and Correa will not be Yankees. Correa has a standing 8-year offer for $300 million with options to get it up 2 more years to 10 years, 360. He has that offer from the Cubs. I think that's what happens. As far as Freeman goes, he's going to the Dodgers, as we have discussed. I'm going to leave that monkey up there so let people laugh at the monkey if they want. That's one of the funny ones. I saw that one on there. It just made me laugh. Some monkey. It's a program that runs behind OBS Studio, by the way, that does that. So with the Dodgers, they will not be outbid for Freeman. They are determined to get him. And the Yankees are not going to get in a bidding war with the Dodgers or anybody. They're just not getting into a bidding war. So, just checking quickly the sources. And that's one thing I want to talk to the last notes here. Okay. Alrighty, so see. So last news and notes, the final thing I wanted to get into, I left it purposely for here. If you actually knew who I talk to every day, not as much on weekends as on weekdays, the sources I communicate with, everything, you'd be blown away. I do have sources, legit sources, and I'm adding more right now. About 4 more this year alone. And what these are, people either work for a franchise or know somebody close to them that works for a franchise. I'll leave it at that. Sports franchise. And so I'm connecting with people. I'm building up. I hope to build up my subscribers quickly and have fun. I might close this down early if we're not getting questions in here. Go ahead and check on some things. Stream is doing very well. So I'm not seeing questions come in. Waiting. So yeah, the Dodgers, they are prepared to spend. And especially if they get that Bauer contract off the books, they will spend. Nothing is going to stop them from spending. By the way, remember when the Dolphins news breaks, I was the one that broke Mike McDaniel to the Dolphins and his 5-year deal, fully guaranteed, even if fired, for $3.5 million a year, a little more than $3.5 million. I think about $3.6 million per year. So somewhere right around the 18-19 million total range. So, and Adam Schefter just said expect a Dolphins announcement tonight at some point. I'm expecting that of about the next 6 hours. I think before 10 p.m. Eastern that comes out. They have finished Moore's interview and didn't go near as long as McDaniel's. So, I'm going to share that. There we go. See if we have a question up here. Just looking back over it. It did peak at 14 concurrent viewers. That means total people in the chat on my end. And that could mean there's a lot more that were not live, basically. If they're not live, not actually chatting, I will not see their numbers. I found that out. Let me check this. Let's go ahead, hit that refresh button. Check as one final source here. So, start to wind this down. Yes, Cashman, I fully agree he needs to do something. He cannot probably survive this next year. Remember, he's a free agent after the 2022 season. He cannot survive unless he adds players this year. So he does have something push him to add players. So keep that one in mind. And I do have new graphics being made for the show as well. But we'll see when they get here. Get to me, and then you'll see those up on the screen. They'll be fancy 3D graphics I've been working on for a while. I sent him somebody else to work on it to finish it. And he's actually going to be doing some original stuff as well. Leave it at that. Another note, the Yankees have 0 offers out right now to any of the current free agents. Trevor Story confirmed he was asked by the Yankees to wait till after the lockout and then they will talk to him. Same with Correa, same with Rizzo. Several players are confirming this. Now, Rizzo's agent said before the lockout he had an offer from the Yankees. It is the same one the Yankees made before free agency started. So they did not actually make one in free agency. With Simeon, I found out that his offer was 6 years, but it was only for about $25 million a year. If that tells you something, they weren't even willing to go over $25 million a year for Marcus Simeon. So the Yankees, I think they will spend. But if you ask me, I firmly believe what the Yankees will do is sign Trevor Story, then either trade for Olsen and sign Rizzo, then get a starting pitcher, be any number of starting pitchers, by the way, any starting pitcher, Kyle Hendricks, any number of them, and then get a relief pitcher. I do not think it'll be Josh Hader. Those that might be hoping for Josh Hader, I don't actually see that one happening. I don't think the Brewers actually trade Josh Hader. There are attitude issues or other things here that derailed the Yankees going after him in the past. And I think that will hold it up. Okay? So if I had to guess, it'll be a surprise reliever under team control, and Chad Green will be the player traded to get through to reliever and probably his prospect. I do think they will trade Chad Green because Clay Holmes has replaced him. They also still have Steven Ridings, and he will be on the MLB roster and MLB bullpen. He is on the MLB roster right now, I should say. They did that to protect him. So I think that's where that one sits. And, yeah. So I think that's where that sits. As for the Cubs, they're going to try to compete this year. They think the NL Central will be that bad. The Cardinals' last players haven't had anybody. I don't think they will. And the rest of the division, it's gone downhill quick. So, yeah. I do think the Cubs will try to contend. I agree with those that are saying that. I do. For the Dodgers, as we already mentioned, those players, the Padres, they're still looking for something big. And that, how about a final Seiya Suzuki update for everybody? I think he goes to the Mariners. The Mariners are determined to add a big right-handed bat. Seiya Suzuki wants to be on the left coast. He's already talked to the Mariners. I found out he did talk to them pre-lockout. It was not just the Red Sox, Jays, and Yankees. There were 3 other teams. One was the Mariners, one was the Giants, one was the Padres. There were other teams that talked to him. So I do think that will happen. When everybody likes to monkey inside, just leave it there the rest of this live just for the fun of it, because we got to the monkey business part of it, the last news and notes. That's why I left it there and switched it to that. So you got a monkey talking to you. Don't you know how I feel about that one? Other teams that are looking to compete, the Marlins should be about 85-90 win teams, so they should be in the NL wildcard chase. All 5 NL East teams should be. That's if the Nationals can have a rebound season. Keep that in mind. If the Nationals have that rebound season. So the Braves will be back. Especially if they get Luke Voit, he could give them some. He will give them almost identical offensive production to Voit to Freeman if he stays healthy. Defensive, no, he's not even close to that. The same defensive player as Freeman. So I think with that, we'll go ahead and end the live for today. The Above Average Baseball Show. Remember to like and subscribe. Help the channel out. It will grow quickly. I'm working with somebody who's an expert at driving traffic to YouTube channels and to other accounts. That's why he's working my Twitter first. That Twitter account in 2.5 weeks went from 13 subscribers, where it started all the way over 1,050 subscribers. Just 2.5 weeks. He's been driving traffic there, so he's helping me out there. And now he's going to be helping me out on my YouTube channel, so you should see subscribers go up pretty soon. Hopefully by the end of April. We'll see. It takes longer to do it with YouTube. It does. So I hope you all enjoyed the show. And you come back next week, we'll have a lot more subjects to talk about. Have a great day, everybody.